Nice, nice.
Ooh, they're recording me.
No, quiet now.
So going forward, if he does this.
Hi, Anita.
Good turnout.
Hey, Tom. How you doing?
Good. How are you, Catherine?
I'm very well, thank you.
How many days?
It's only 21. Yeah. I think 21.
Now you have to explain that. 21 what? A diet?
Catherine's teaching. So when it gets towards summer, you start counting down the days.
Oh.
I think that's what you meant. Is that what you meant, Tom, or did you mean meditation?
I was referring to meditation.
Oh, forget about that.
Well,
it's the same.
I'm with you on that one. Okay.
I don't, yeah, I was doing strong, you know, and then one day off and then you know, and then, yeah.
It happens.
I know. And I feel like I need more focus for my, well, you know, a little more focus for my meditation because I'm doing it first thing in the morning and, you know, everything's out in front, you know, yeah. So maybe I'll try it in the evening.
Wow, Jack, your beard. Wow.
Although in 21 days, Catherine, you'll have a lot more peace.
Yes. Yes. You know, you know, spring with teenagers. Holy jamolies.
Yeah, there we
been
go.
cooped up for a year.
Pandemic teenager.
Yep. Yeah.
Peter Stringham's here. Hi, Pete.
I just want to say hi to everybody that I haven't seen for a long time. It's so nice to see you guys.
Yes, yes. And happy birthday, Lacey. I saw you on Facebook or whatever, but you know, I didn't, I wanted to, but I didn't. Yeah, it's good to see you too, Malik.
But did we lose Tina?
Oh, she's here.
Hi, Joan.
Okay.
Hi.
Well, I guess a call to order. Welcome, everyone. Hopefully you can't see me. All you see is the agenda I'm putting up there. I'm going to be running slides, and I am very happy you've all turned out for this meeting. I want to apologize, I guess. COVID times being what they were, we were really hoping to get together today on this beautiful, fine day, together in person at the synagogue, but they had a wedding that they were rescheduling because of possible weather issues. So thanks for being flexible.
All right, so nice to see you all. It's been such a long time. I'm feeling, you know, this is handing over the gauntlet to Mark as president. And so it's kind of a lot of feelings going on here, but let's go and get this done. This meeting is to let you all know that what we did in 2020, we did some amazing stuff. We also have some votes on the agenda. Mark will go over them as we pass over the gauntlet to him on what they will follow through on. This has been an amazing board. We've worked very hard along with a few very dedicated volunteers. We thank you, we love you. And so the rules to go forward is there's going to be somebody that if you have raised your hand, you have questions, there's going to be a time for questions, and we'll let each other speak. And then, so we'll keep this all polite and moving forward as quickly as we can, since we have this amazing day outside that nobody wants to miss. So let's see, do we want to start with Stan, the Director of Operations?
Did we forget the pray-in?
I'm sorry. Okay, so yes, let's center. I guess I'm just so excited and overwhelmed. Father, Mother God, in us, through us, all around us, in every living room, every outdoor space, every space that each and every one of us is, you are. And you guide us always into the right and perfect judgments and choices for this community as we move forward, being the beacon of light, not only Amesbury, but for the country and part of this web of consciousness that covers the world. We move forward with love and ease and joy and giving of all of our talents, tithes, and we, as a community, stand strong as we move forward to bring in a new minister, a new building, and we come together and worship one-on-one, in person, feeling the energy, feeling the peace, feeling the love that we are as Unity on the River. And so it is.
Amen.
All right, Stan.
Thank you, Tina. I'll start off with the operations report. And as everybody knows, my predecessor, Mary Jane, did much of the heavy lifting back in 2020. So I wanted to make sure she got credit for that. She led the move out of 58 Macy Street. A lot of volunteers helped her along with that, so a lot of people present certainly can be proud of that. We also set up the office at 14 Cedar Street, Suite 203. That office has been where I've been working out of since I began in January. Mary Jane and Ogun worked and spent out or applied for and received a PPP loan for $13,000 or so. We've already, we quickly spent that on salaries and whatever else was appropriate for and utilities basically during 2020. So that helped us make up for a shortage in donations and helped us get through the pandemic year. We also got a Ida Bowles grant from Unity of Long Island. I think they've changed their name. They were Unity of Hampstead, but I think it's Long Island now. And we've been using that money to upgrade our hardware and computer hardware and all that. And one thing that also Mary Jane had a big hand in was starting the transition to fully online transactions. So a lot of our payments to vendors and payments to musicians and payments to other folks are now done electronically. It's very rare that we actually write a physical check anymore. So that is ongoing under my tenure. Since I've started in January, we've applied for forgiveness for that first loan. So essentially that loan is a grant. We've upgraded the office to a Microsoft cloud environment. That is an ongoing project. We've really only just begun with that. I've also applied for a second PPP loan. We've submitted the paperwork for that, and we're just waiting to see whether they accept our application or not. During the pandemic, my focus has really been to cut costs, keep things down to a bare minimum, but also prepare us for the recovery when we hope to prosper and grow and expand the Unity message to a wider audience. So basically, that's all for the operations.
Thank you, Stan.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Sue.
And so now we're gonna see Jeremy with the treasurer's report.
Yeah. Everybody can hear me all right? Good. All right. So first off, well, first I want to give credit to Stan because Stan basically did all of what I'm going to talk about. So, Stan helped to create an endowment fund, which was approved by the board. He formed a committee, which he's the chair of. I'm the treasurer, and then Nancy Reese is also helping. We transitioned our holdings to a more diversified, secure portfolio. Basically, we're investing in socially responsible funds. A page has been created out on, if you go to the About Us on the Unity page, under About Us, you can see the endowment fund, which will give you more information about what it entails. And we've prepared a draft document for soliciting bequests. The endowment currently is at around 53,000, which is really great. We actually, in the past, I want to say year, it doubled based off of what was invested in. And so that's pretty tremendous. Moving on to property savings. So after the sale of the property, and after the money was dispersed, we have about 754,000. We are working towards putting that money into a money market in order to gain a higher interest rate. And Mark, if you can move to the next slide. This just gives you a quick overview of, hopefully everybody can see that all right, of the various accounts that we have, and where we stand. Well, what I try to do is look at the past 4 years and to show the trends, as well as where we are today as of March 31st. Sorry, it's so small and the colors are a little off. Try to change that to make it more pretty, but it's unfortunately. And then if we move to the next slide, this is our profit and loss history all the way dating back to the beginning, well, to 2004. And sorry, I have a cat and he wants attention. So as you can see here, we've had a couple of years where there's been net income, but for the most part, we've had a loss. And I put in where we are to date as of Friday, May 21st, just to show that we're currently at a loss of around 7,000. And I think that's it. And then we have questions.
Yes, if you want to raise your hand or possibly unmute yourself, I'm not sure how that's set up right now, to ask any questions of the Director of Operations or Treasurer.
Hello?
Meg has her hand raised.
Yeah, Jeremy, the endowment where we doubled, that doesn't go right into our profit? What do you mean? If we have that?
No, the endowment's a separate fund, and so it's basically to help support the church and maintain our legacy. It's an emergency fund in case we need something to dip into to help stabilize ourselves.
Then we have Lynette. You have a question?
Yeah, Jeremy, I'm just curious what the different colors on the graph represent.
They're just different years. So at the top of the graph, you have the prayer chaplains. The prayer chaplain team has their separate account. And each one, if you look at the key on the far right, I don't know if you can see that, the green is as of March 31st. The light blue is December 31st of 2020. And the next color under that, if you look at like the endowment or even the checking, they have all the colors. But if you start from the top and move your way down, it just looks at the past 4 years.
And Peter?
Yeah, I wondered if you could just give me the picture in general of how the donations have been coming in. And are we seeing people leaving that were donors to the church, or what is the health of the church's income?
I'm going to let Stan speak to that.
Yes, I'll go ahead. It has been very irregular, I'd have to say. In 2021, we've benefited from some unprecedented and very generous donations that were mailed in, and people continue to donate via the various other via Stripe and PayPal and Venmo and texting. So it really varies. I think people were really hunkering down back in January and February and just weren't in a giving mode. But we're starting to see signs that things are improving. And I really think that once we're meeting in person together, that will cause a much improved level of donations. But it's really hard to predict, and it's really a challenge for making a budget for income that we're not even sure that we're going to get. So we're very grateful for the generosity that people have shown, and we look forward to more as we get back to meeting together in person.
There is one question in the chat. What is the purpose of the endowment?
Okay, I can speak to that as well. We have a charter which is posted on the website. So the main purpose is for capital improvements. If and when we do purchase a building, if we ever need to renovate it, that's the main purpose of the endowment fund. But we also use it for as a funding of last resort. In 2020, we actually dipped into it to the tune of $5,000 to help with paying some of the bills at the end of the year. We've been able, since the property money came in, we were able to reimburse the endowment fund for that. So it's really long-term and major projects that we envision using that money for.
And that money started out with somebody leaving us some stocks in oil. And then with Stan's help, we were able to invest it, and that's why it doubled. So that was originally stocks that were just given to us after somebody passed. So we've chosen to put that into an endowment fund to use it for something in the future in emergency.
I believe that was it for questions. So
okay. So my turn. So this year, we did a lot of things, but first I need to thank everybody that was on the board with me, because we worked our butts off. The vice president was Sharon Maroney, secretary Rena Davis, treasurer Stan Warble, Malik Morano, Jane Millett, Jeremy Bufano and Mark Snyder. You know, during the move and packing things up, we were exhausted. We had a few people that came to help, and you know, but we really worked our butts off. And I love you all so much. These are some truly dedicated people to this community, and we couldn't have better leadership moving forward as I move off the board. So I thank you all, and I applaud you for all your hard work, and I love you. But we put in action, you know, getting the property on the market and getting it sold at a time where, you know, had we not sold this, we would have folded. All of those businesses that we rented to closed. And so that we all as a community, you know, picked the right time and the right action. Spirits groups were started, and people are having making great connections in these spirit groups. We did the 15 commitments to leadership, and that was such a great book. A lot of people really enjoyed that. We went to remote services and operations, which wasn't an easy task. There was a lot of trying to figure things out, and Ogun and the music team did an amazing job switching that over. Like Stan had said, we got the PPP loan. We packed and moved, and then shifted our director of operation, and we loved Mary Jane. She was a hard worker, and it was her time to move on. But Stan is doing an amazing job. He is really very detail oriented. He did a great job bringing Jeremy up to speed in the finances so that Jeremy could take over the treasurer's position. We brought Martha Creek in for forgiveness work. Unfortunately, a lot of people chose not to take part in that, but it was a really great program. And so I don't know if there are still, I believe it was all recorded, so there may be an opportunity if you want to go back through that. She did an amazing job. And then, yes, Martha is awesome. Thank you, Amy. And here we are. You know, the community meeting, we moved because we thought at this point that we would be meeting in person. And certainly that was our goal, if it was going to be possible. And unfortunately, the wedding of the head of the synagogue kind of trumped us today, which is very understandable. We extended Ogun's contract to May, and then he decided to move on with all of our love. And now we're at a great position of moving forward and creating a new version of ourselves at a new place, with a new minister. And so I know that Mark is going to talk about that stuff, but I want to encourage people. We need people to step up. We need leadership. We have more positions on the board that need to be filled. We're going to have some committees that need to be filled. So I encourage people to step up and volunteer. And there's so many reasons and benefits to volunteer. And, you know, it really helps to expand yourself, go beyond your limits, be the teacher, be the leader that you're supposed to be. That's what we're all here for, so that we can then bring it out into community, because we're here to change people's lives. But we have to build our new situation so that we can really help as many people as possible. What is our new mission going to be? Then what is our new building going to look like to help us go through that mission? And then finding a minister that really believes in our mission and what we want to do to move forward. But we need your help, and we need you guys, we need everybody to kind of step in and start moving this thing forward. So there's going to be new committees that Mark is going to talk about. And, you know, it's been such an honor being president. It's such an honor being on the board and being part of this community. I love you all. And this is a time for us to create what we want. A new beginning with the money that we need to create it. I mean, what church? There's so many churches closing right now. There's so many churches that are now coming on the market, and we are in the ideal situation. So let's think prosperously. Let's move forward with vigor and joy, and knowing that we have a lot of work to do in this world, in this town, in this state, in this country, and all of us need to do that together. So I love you all, and I'm done. We'll move forward. So
I have a question, Tina, or more of a question. You spoke about the chronology of what is needed to happen in the near future. And the last thing you said was a new minister. I would expect that we would be looking for a new spiritual leader before we're looking, or at least simultaneously looking for a place to rent or buy.
Well, we would be looking for an interim minister that's going to help us guide us through the process. Okay. And then we would be looking for a minister that is coming in to really help us create or move forward with our vision. So that has been the process as we spoke with Unity Village. That has been the process that they've talked about. You know, we'll look at our mission and vision. Then we'll look at finding an interim and look for a building, and then look for the long-term minister that sees what we're doing and really believes in what we're doing to help move it forward and make us a bigger presence.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yep. Any other questions? All right.
Malik had a question.
Malik.
Yes, I don't have a question, but I just wanted it as part of the board. I wanted to support Tina with what she just said. One of the biggest things that we need to keep in mind as a community is that when we started looking for a minister, we need to be financially stable, having a income, because we need to pay the minister. So we need to make sure that we separate and we have in mind, you know, what is our purpose for when we're looking for the minister. The community needs to be prepared to support the minister. At this moment, the community is not prepared to support a minister.
No. Good point, Malik. And I do believe, like Stan had said, that as we come back together, then finances will change, and you know, as we start moving forward, we would be able to afford to pay a minister. Right now, yeah, we can't. So having people speaking every week is less of an expense than hiring a minister and paying a salary. Anything else? Mark, do you want to move back to the agenda?
Can I just...
Oh, go ahead.
Can I just, as a community member, thank you, Tina, for your service. So much, you've done so much in terms of leading us through this challenging time. And to say that I hope that we continue to benefit from your wisdom, even though you're not on the board.
Thank you. I do hope to be on one of the committees, one or whatever. I'm still going to be here volunteering. So thank you so much, Lynette. I greatly appreciate that. All right, if there's nothing else, we'll go to the bylaws section. Do you have that, Mark? Hold up.
Oh boy. Yes, just a moment.
Okay.
I just have to share. Is that the agenda? That's the agenda right there. Can you see the bylaws there?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So the elections, qualifications. So we've had people going through, we have 2 people that are up for vote, as well as Rena is taking, coming up for her next term. So qualifications, any person elected to the Board of Trustees must be an active member of the church. He or she will be a person who desires to serve on the board, endeavors to live in accordance with the Jesus Christ principles of love, truth, as taught in unity, further the work of unity ministry through his or her activities, interests, love, and support, is a sincere and continuing student of unity, conservance of its teachers. How are we defining active? Well, hold on, Amy. We will meet with such other qualifications of the Board of Trustees may establish as a matter of policy. The nominating committee, a nominating committee will be formed at least 3 months prior to the annual meeting, which we did have. And Malik will talk about who is on that committee, and he will give you the people that are up for new board members. And we'll initiate a search for qualified candidates of each Board of Trustees position to be filled. The committee will consist of senior minister or co-minister and 3 active members selected by the following manner. At the annual meeting, the membership shall elect one of its active members and an alternative to serve on a nomination committee for the next year's election. In the event of the unavailability, it shifted to serve in the person so elected. The board will select a person from the active membership to fill the vacancy other than a current board member. The board will elect one of its trustees, which is Malik. Together with the minister to the above committee, members will select a 3rd committee member for the active membership who will become chairperson of the nomination committee.
Right.
In the event,
if I may, you could stop now.
Oh, okay.
just to save you. Basically, the procedures and the qualifications to become a board member needed to be listed, so that the presentation of the candidates could be given.
Right.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I'm glad I could entertain you. All right, where's the, back to the agenda.
And I was talking, so just a moment, I'll get back to it. PowerPoint slideshow.
And Amy had a question as well.
Yes, active membership. So at this point, we have, because we did not send out letters telling people that, okay, you've not been active in the community. We don't know if they've been active online and visiting. So to be active in the community, you have to be attending services, taking part in activities, tithing. And so at this point, we're kind of at, we're doing it on the honor system. So if you have been a member, if you were signed up as a member, because we did have people that were not considered, that were never signed up as members that wanted to be on the board, and we could not do that. So any member that is in our system is was up for board privileges.
Yes, and moving forward in the bylaws, it does state that every year at the annual meeting, people who want to re-up or continue their membership notify us by a card. Okay. What we'd like to do continuing is to implement that. We'll have a section on the website where you can click to indicate you want to continue your membership. And then the reverse side of that is if you want to leave at any time, you are asked, or as part of your membership, to give us reasons why you want to leave, and also have an interview or a debriefing process with a board member or the board, so you can air anything you want to about the environment, Unity on the River, the board members, whatever might lead you to leave our community. That always has not quite been done. We've had the interviews, but it hasn't been of an official documented nature.
Mark, to add to that, I think it's, I think when it comes to like what considers active membership, and I know that this has been a different kind of year, right?
Yeah,
there
absolutely.
are people that have been joining us virtually this past year that have never walked through our doors, which is pretty exciting. And they feel very much engaged and involved. But I think when it comes to things like active membership, it's just, I think in our printed literature, I think we should really spell that out. What that means. It means that you're showing up on a regular basis. It means that you're actively engaged in financial aid, supporting our community. All of those things I think are really important to put in that, so that there's no unclarity as to exactly what that means, because what means active to me might mean something different to someone else. Someone might come once a year and think that they're active. So I think it's good just to spell those things out.
Right, and one of the agenda items for the new board is to look at some of the bylaws and clarify some things. Correct, Mark?
That is correct. Yes.
Right, and then we still under a time frame with Unity Worldwide to make sure that our bylaws are in congruency with theirs.
I thought, my understanding was that they backed off on that. Rena, do you know something about that?
Oops, where's Rena?
They had sent out a notice of specific languaging that had been rescinded, and the time frame has been extended to the best of my knowledge, with no definitive date.
Yes, I thought originally it was like 3 years, but I know that was something that will be taken care of in this next year or so.
Jack Santos has a question.
Yeah, more of a comment. And I really support Tina's point. It's been an unusual year in membership. We just have to be more, just welcoming and kind of take everybody on their honor. Although I agree with Amy that there's certain things you have to do. But I don't have the bylaws in front of me, but I think the bylaws also stated this was always not an issue, but a key point at the board level was the membership means you took a Unity Basics class or nothing and no one against you. So once we go back to normal, I think we probably should just revisit that.
Right. Well, you have to be Unity Basics, you have to take a Prosperity, and then you have to take a leadership, non-confrontational kind of situation. Because I know that Gina Janess is also, her class was also being accepted besides Nothing and No One Against Us.
Right.
And thumbs up on the beard, Jack.
I'm going to go for a Santa Claus job.
You need a captain hat.
Awesome. Okay. So Malik, do you want to talk about who is coming on the board?
Yes. So first of all, I want to say thank you to Susan and Michelle. They've been my biggest support every year. And Amy in previous year. I just want to say thank you guys. You guys have no idea how much I appreciate you guys to go through this process. This is a really serious process when we have community members that want to step up to this role. I want to let you guys know that this is my last year. I'll be ending my role on the board of trustee. But my personal experience is that when I start coming to Unity and I start working at the board, my life has prospered in every single way. Financially, emotionally, physically, every single part of my life have prospered. I'm so honored today to present two members. They have such an amazing personal experience. The resume by themselves is amazing. The job and the love that they have for Unity is overwhelming. And I want to present with the honor that I have today, Brad Fayette. Where is Brad? I cannot see Brad right now. Can we spotlight Brad? Brad is one of the candidates today. And the next candidate is Jane Bell. She is an amazing woman. She has been on the prayer chaplain. She loves Unity. But these two candidates have amazed us with the interview. And it's going to be an honor for the Board of Trustees and from the community to have these two new members, knowing that these two members are going to be looking out for the well-being of the Unity on the river.
So Brad, do you want to be the first one to introduce yourself and tell us why you want to be on the board?
Sure. Yeah, so the decision to run for the board really starts because I deeply care for Unity on the river. It's been so enriching to my life and the life of others, and I really want it to thrive and prosper. So as to why I think I can help that by being on the board, right now we're facing two really major transitions, a new home and a new minister. Now, as a career coach, I help people navigate job transitions all the time. So I'm familiar with the process of going through transitions and guiding people through transitions. I've also been through a lot of transitions myself. I've had 10 different jobs, probably 25 different homes in 10 different cities. So I've had a lot of that for personal experience as well. So I know what it's like to go through transition and guide people through it. And I bring this experience to the board. I'm really excited about the possibility. Transitions can be exciting because anything is possible. And with a community like Unity on the River, that's really, I mean, the things that we could accomplish are just, mind-boggling. So I'm really excited about that. We can go in any direction that we want. But transitions can also be really daunting. There's a lot of, because so many choices, it can be overwhelming. It can be frustrating if we try and go a direction and we hit some roadblocks. And the stress of transitions can bring up stuff in people. People can get emotionally triggered. And that's, part of the process is processing those things as they come along as a community with love and respect. So the good news about these transitions is that at the end, it's a good ending. The end of the story is that we get a new home, we get a new minister. So I would like to keep that in mind and with people and with myself, that this is a story that has a happy ending. I want to say that while I have a lot of ideas, I'm not wedded to any one outcome. So I'm here as a guide for the community to come together, bring up our ideas, and create what's the next great version of Unity on the River. I'm really excited and optimistic about it. So if you so choose, I look forward to being able to help that next amazing version of Unity on the River as a board member. So thank you very much, and namaste.
Thank you, Brad. Jane, would you like to introduce yourself to us?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, everybody. Jane Bell, and I'm just happy to be here. I'm very excited for Unity on the River to pursue new adventures. It's such a wonderful community that I hope that as becoming a board member to bring that knowledge of what we do and who we are as people and what we do to serve to a broader part of our greater community. And I think the best way to do that is to participate in a committee on the board and open this up to more people, because it's such a place for growth and knowledge. And I just personally feel like it's a different path to God than other churches offer. So I'm excited to be able to participate in that way. I recently retired. I have more time on my hands than I did before. So just offering up I do have a lot of leadership skills, having been a director at many levels in nursing for 46 years. So do like the teamwork and the heart work. So I would be very happy to serve.
Thank you so much, Jane.
You're welcome.
So now we're going to go into a vote. Where are we? So Mark, how are we going to see hands, or are we going to have people just respond in the comment center?
Yes, what we'd like you to do is to vote by sending a yes to accept the board or a no to accept the board as proposed to, oh, let's see, Annabelle. And what we're going to do is save that chat so we can tally all the votes. And what that gives us is the name of everyone and how they voted, so we can come up to a count. In addition, we will be mailing out to everybody on the membership list a mail-in ballot, and that will be due, I think, June 4th. That gives us 2 weeks. So their numbers can come in for anybody who could not meet this or be in this meeting today. So if you would please send your votes to Annabelle.
Mark, to be specific, not everyone, you wanted to go to Annabelle specifically?
Yeah, texting. Yeah, texting.
Well, no, I'm just saying.
Excuse me.
In the chat window, Annabelle actually has 2 names, so we'd have to be
that's
sure
right.
which one.
Give me your recommendation.
Well, I think that if it's, I think that if it's everyone, this is all recorded, we'll be able to go back to the chat, so it's not a big deal.
Right. Shall we choose UOTR Amesbury host then?
That'd be awesome, actually. UOTR Amesbury host. That'd be great.
Okay.
Perfect. And again, that will be a saved text file that we can look at later and do the count. And what we'll do is we'll take a quick look at that so that we can know if we have a board moving forward right now or not.
Well, I mean, generally, if we're at a meeting with everybody, whoever shows up, we're just tallying what's happening at the time, correct?
Correct. 51% or more.
Right, right. So, so once everybody's voted, what is it time for me to turn this over to our new board?
Jim has his hand up.
Oh.
Yeah, I have a question. How do you send a chat?
Oh. Go down to the bottom of your screen. You'll see chat, and you just click on it, and then you'll be able to send. Do you see that down at the bottom?
Yes.
Okay, so just click on that and just put your vote and just send.
Thank you.
Yep. I know it took me a while to figure it out because sometimes it doesn't show up at the bottom. So. All right. What's on the agenda right now? Am I just handing it over to you, Mark? Marky Mark.
Right here. I'm having fun flipping between all these different screens here.
Okay. So he already explained the voting. So now I'm handing over the gauntlet to Mark Schneider, who is your new president of the board, and I'm very confident in him and his abilities. He's very grounded. He is very open-minded. His leadership skills are impeccable, And I am so proud to hand this over to you, Mark. I know you're going to do an amazing job taking us forward. And just know, for anybody that is going to come on the board maybe later, you know, there's going to be committees that are going to help take the brunt of the work away from the board. That's what Mark will talk about, these committees. It's not, you're not going to have to do this alone. So Mark, welcome, President of the board.
Thank you, Tina. And in particular, thank you for your years of service. You just remember, you get 1 year off and then you have to come back, all right? That's our kind of our unspoken promise. No.
Right, right.
So one bit of work still to do for this, and that is Malik is stepping down for the Board of Trustees nomination committee. So we need a new Board of Trustee to head that committee up. And you think we rehearsed this? We did not. I'm in a position where I can't see everybody. So do we have Jeremy raising his hand? Oh, and as president, I'm not allowed to do this.
Mark, if you scroll down,
Jeremy is raising
able
his
to
hand.
see their hands.
Thank you. Well, yeah, thank you. I'm presenting, so I kind of have a very limited view up on my screen. Jeremy, thank you very much. And we also need to have 2 members of the congregation, a primary and a backup, for the 2021 Board of Trustees Search Committee. Bear in mind, we do still have at least 1 more seat to fill, because at current status, we're at 7. We should have 8 or more.
Mark, Malik had asked if we would, Michelle and I would stay on again.
Would you stay on?
Yes, I'm willing to do that.
We also have Amy Jocelyn with her hand raised.
Hello, Amy.
Anyone else?
And is Michelle staying on?
I'm willing to do it. And
Okay.
if Amy wants to do it, that's fine.
Well,
not.
Well, there's no rule against having 3. It's usually a primary and a backup, and you usually work together to do the
that's correct.
applications and then interviewing process. So why don't we put all 3 of you on the list? And thank you very much for stepping up for service.
You're welcome.
Tina, again, thank
Yes.
you for all that you have done for us. You are a very powerful leader, and you have brought this board and pulled the community together very clearly to understand the opportunities and or challenges that we have passed through.
Thank you so much. It's been my pleasure.
This also is leaving us in a perfect place for this energy of this church to continue on being that light of beacon in the Northeast and joining with other unity and new thought minds to continue this, to continue this community. One thing I've noticed, and I spoke a little bit about this with Shipley, is that even though the board members change, the members that come to the church change, people come and go, the underlying vibe, the underlying pulse of this community stays relatively the same. We have different focuses when those changes occur. There's maybe different challenges that come to the church as time changes, because that's the one thing you can count on is change. What I encourage all of us to do is to take this opportunity to really step up and communicate and focus on that oneness, that feeling of home that you got the first time you stepped in the door. The music knocked you out. Shipley or Ogun, whatever speaker was up on the dais, just remember that feeling. That is what Unity on the River is. That's what brought me to it. And that's what's driving me to sit in this chair right now. I'm honored to do this. And I also understand that my duties are actually to help gather and encourage people to come together to share information and make choices the best we can. Fortunately, I don't have to make the decisions, so don't give me too much kudos here. It's all on you. I just get to watch. Now, with those ongoing or upcoming initiatives, you know, we came out of a period, oh boy, with the retirement of our original minister, we had some changes with a new minister being found, etc. People have come, people have gone. A number of things that have been mentioned to the board, both privately and as a group, is interest in the bylaws to make sure that they're up to date. And the order I'm presenting this is actually the order that Unity Worldwide Ministries and their experts and other experts about transition have presented it. So you want to make sure your bylaws are accurate and we all can agree on it. That's why it's at the top of the list. After that, you have to have your core values, mission, and vision in place. With those two things all set, then you can start looking at the location and minister, either way, whether it's first or second, because I honestly, we'll be looking at the same time for both, that fits what our community's growth and interests are. So at present, let me get over here. For the bylaws updates, we have the board members, Mark Schneider, that's me, and Stan Roble from the Director of Operations, who are interested in guiding that committee. If you have an interest in comparing our current bylaws with Unity Worldwide Ministries' recommended template, please email the board 15 at unityontheriver.org, and we will be in touch to start putting those meetings together. Does anybody have any questions about that? Well, I guess that's a bad thing to ask on a Zoom call, but we can do that in the Q&A. Our next initiative is looking at those core values, vision and mission review. We did this a couple of years ago as we moved into a plan that was being guided by Dr. Gary Simmons, and something that Unity Worldwide Ministries is also recommending. It has been voiced to us that it maybe doesn't resonate with a lot of people. There's a purity to it, but it just doesn't seem to encompass the heart of Unity on the River. If you have an interest in helping that, we have talked to Martha Creek to moderate the mission and vision and core value meetings. And I do hope that as we get to the point of scheduling that very soon, that you can attend those meetings. Be watching for it. We'll make announcements on Sundays. The key thing is that you go to these meetings and you give your ideas so that, you know, first you go through and you list what are the core feelings, love, unity, compassion, outreach, and those sort of things. And you move through the process of then choosing what the vision is and then the mission. You may remember our vision and mission from a few years ago, and the new one of them reverberates. It's got to be refreshed. Are we going to change, or, you know, what is the general consensus for that? From that, now part of that is there have been interests in, oh, we should maybe have a kitchen, a soup kitchen. Maybe we should have outreach into poorer neighborhoods. There's a lot out there to do, but we need to focus on what is the church's purpose and what we all agree we want to take the path down. The Minister Selection Committee and the Property Selection Committee, we do have some names for that. We have a board representation by myself and Malik for the minister selection, and Sharon, Vice President, is offering to be the board rep for the property selection. Please email board 15 at Unity on the River if you'd like to be on that. We do have some names. And we will probably be working with Christian Hayes. I think it's Hayes, sorry, I'm blanking. who was on Spirit of the River and helped initiate the sales of our property. So he was on the tiller for that and did it so masterfully. He has offered to assist us to find those properties. We do have realtors that we were working with, and Christian has offered to be that agent. And I do hope that commercial properties will be coming up soon, because it's been kind of slow, but with the COVID-19, you never know.
And one thing about Christian is that he had offered to give any monetary return that he got as a tithe. So he, and I will, Mark, I will check with you, have him give you a call about that.
Yes. Perfect. And now, according to the agenda, we're open for questions from the congregation. So let's have a kind of a general QA here. What have you got to say? What questions do you have?
Anyone raise their hand electronically or otherwise?
Please raise your hand.
Andrea?
I've been hearing that we're going to meet at a synagogue in Newburyport. Is that on the table right now, or?
Yes, that is. The synagogue has a very large open space for meetings in their top floor. And as we move further out of COVID, the space can hold 200 people. So I believe right now until the 29th, the church regulations are 40 people. So we would have to maintain, the social distancing space, continue to mask inside and maintain our distance from each other. And we would be able to cordon off certain pews so we can achieve that. Oh, yes, Andrea?
You're talking about May 29th?
According to the state of Massachusetts guidelines, yes, May 29th, things are going to be opening up.
More than the 40, you mean, or?
Quite a bit, yes.
So you're thinking sometime in the next month, maybe, that we would meet, or?
Yep. And
Okay.
we'd already been in talks with the synagogue for a while. We were hoping to have the meeting there and the service today.
Right.
There's a bit of logistics that has to be done. They have a sound system, they have streaming capabilities, but we do need to bring some of our things in, and when we're done, store them. So no matter where we go, there's going to be a bit of that. We have setup and breakdown to do.
Right.
But it's lovely that we'll be able to do that in person very soon.
And you're thinking about the same time frame on Sunday morning?
Yes. 10 a.m. service, 11 hospitality as we can do it. Yes.
So we're talking about, I just have a quick question. We're talking about church in a box at the synagogue.
Church in a box. I like that.
I love that. Set up a couple candles and a gong behind us. And I know that's going to be a lot of work for people. We'll need some volunteers to help Brian set up and the music team set up and all of that. But my question is, if the 29th is when everything opens up more, did you mean that it's 40 people on the 29th, or is that opening up according to the CDC? I mean, that's just one Sunday from here. So in June, we may have the ability to have more than 40, or is that still the CDC guideline that we only have 40 after the 29th?
Meg, I have to say, I don't know the details. I was more aware of the current CDC and guidelines from the state of Massachusetts. But we'll get the answer and get that out quickly. My general understanding, and I could be wrong, was that we could go up to about 100, which is 50% capacity. And so much of it also revolves around people's own safety and their feeling about congregating. So you are free to come. Early on, we might be taking, email or reservations as it, or, to try to keep it down and not have too many people to show up. The synagogue doesn't really have any land around it, so we won't be able to have overflow. But we're going to be monitoring those published standards from the state and get those out immediately. I'm hoping next Sunday we can do live, sort of after this. The music team and the board and all that will have to talk to each other and see if we can do it.
Another consideration of that site, Mark, is that there's very, very limited parking.
Indeed. We spoke with the board of the synagogue, and both Alex and Barry, Alex is the rabbi, had expressed that they've never had any trouble parking. They're several blocks away from the areas of interest in Newburyport, and just 2 blocks away, there is a large parking lot in Little Park. So there's lots of on-street parking right nearby, which we would want to reserve for people that need assistance in movements and that sort of thing. They can come into the first floor and then take a chair up to the synagogue meeting space. But so again, it's kind of okay, let's roll the dice. They tell us that it's going to be fine. I'm hoping so. It's a big neighborhood. We might have to walk a little bit.
Jeff, did you have a question?
Well, no, I was just going to make a comment looking at the state sites right now. As of the 29th, there are no capacity limits. So,
yeah, anywhere. I was going to say the same thing. Amy?
I'm not necessarily opposed to meeting in the synagogue, but the one thing for me that I guess important is to me is that we're researching our options, right? We're not going, is this actually in terms of temporary places that we can meet the best option for us? Like, are there places in Haverhill? Are there places where there may be more parking or easy to park? We can say that people might need to walk, but we want to also keep in mind that we have some older people that may have some limitations as far as that. So I just want us to look at our options. And if being the best place for us to meet temporarily, then that's great. But I want to know that we've looked at some options. Yes. So that we've got A, B, or C to choose from, and we can list what are the benefits of each location and then choose a space, as opposed to this is where we've gone before and so we're going back to it type of thing.
Can I respond to that?
Yes, please.
Amy, we've been looking at different options. This is not the only option that we've been looking at. This was the first people that respond to us. We've been looking at different areas, different sessions. We are aware of the parking space. We want to be able that we found a place that is suitable for everybody, and we take in consideration everybody, like parking and things like that. The synagogue was the first place that was able to host us with no restriction whatsoever. So we are glad that we found a place that will open to welcome unity for us to have a place. But yes, we will continue looking for other places that will be easier for the congregation.
Yes.
I mean, if no one's been down there yet, go take a look at it. There's plenty of parking on street right in the area.
Mm-hmm.
It's not in downtown Newburyport. It's
right.
It's on the other side of Route 1 towards Amesbury. So it's not crowded with tourists.
Exactly.
And we had no problem parking when we went to look at it with half a dozen cars.
Mm-hmm. And we did look at several other sites as well. Some were churches, some were places like the cinemas on Route 110. And one of the other churches, the unfortunate thing was they had services on Sunday, so it just wouldn't work at all. Yeah, but we're open to suggestions. We're always looking. We don't need to be locked in. We do need to keep in mind how much equipment we have and that sort of thing, and how much we're willing to move it around. And we will continue Zoom streaming as well as Zoomed hospitality. So even as we get back together, we'll still have that component too.
Lynette, you still have your hand raised?
I do. I have a couple of things. Yeah, I'm glad Amy raised that. I think that this time of transition is really important. And I'm so glad that we're going to be defining and clarifying who we are before making any decisions about our future leadership or home. I think it's important to consider things such as, do we want to reach out to more diverse communities? If so, that would impact our location. And also in terms of selecting a new leader, that we want a leader who is going to help us fulfill our mission rather than a leader who wants us to fulfill their mission. So I'm glad we're doing our mission and vision work before making those decisions. And I hope that during this transition period, we won't limit ourselves to just one location to try out, but we'll try out a variety of locations, both rural and more urban.
Excellent, thank you.
Wait, I had one more thing.
Oh, okay.
Just going forward, a thought I had, there's a group of us that have been involved in the social justice team that are really vibrant, and I feel like we're doing some great thinking together. And I know there are other committees and ministries within the church, and I think it would be great to have a format to report back to the bit larger community, so that for one reason, to keep everyone sort of engaged, but also to get people to be more engaged in joining committees and ministries.
Indeed.
Okay, I can say, Lynette, please feel free to let me know so that I can work with the communications director to put things on the website, which is one possibility. We can also add things to the newsletter that goes out on a weekly basis. So we'll be happy to work with you on what you would like to do in those areas.
Yeah, that's great. We've got ours on the newsletter, but I'm interested in the other things that are going on, people working in other areas in the church. You know, not everyone's going to be interested in the social justice team, and Annabelle's been including that in the newsletter. But I'd love to hear, you know, from the prayer team, or there are other teams that are working on different areas to keep things going. And it would be great to get a little mini report back in the newsletter.
Okay, we can brainstorm on that and see what we can do for you in that area.
Maybe just do a spotlight. One spotlight, one group every newsletter, and kind of rotate it through every few months.
That's a good idea.
Very good, thank you. And Catherine.
Hi. Are we limited to a certain number of community meetings per year? Is that, because I find this format kind of, engaging somewhat, at least this part, when we're all sort of, sharing with each other, but being, maybe a little bit more formal about it. Because I could see a community meeting as a really good place for groups to share what they've been doing. But I don't know. Are we limited by?
No, we're not limited. The bylaws state one annual meeting, but we can certainly call meetings anytime we wish. If,
it just seems like with all that's going on, people want to know, and so, I'm not that big a fan, especially of meetings on beautiful Sunday afternoons, but it might be a good idea to plan, one a month or something like that. So we know ahead of time when they're going to happen, and you know, and everybody can have a chance to reconnect. That's it.
Thank you. That's a lovely idea. We've been talking about this though since January.
Yeah, I know it takes a while. but I'm kind of, you know, it's good to see all the squares, rectangles.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, and then if we have a meeting with, you know, where we can actually you know, meet in person, that would be cool too. So yeah, you know, I would really encourage us to pick a date in June that we're, you know, all gonna see each other in this way, you know.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love taking into consideration anything you can do to improve communications for everyone.
Right.
Take care of yourself.
Because in a way, things might have seemed siloed before, you know?
Yeah.
It's not a criticism, it's just the way things go.
That's just the way everybody's been living.
Let me know if I can bring you anything.
Bye, Keith.
Bye, Keith.
Do we
Sorry,
have
didn't realize I was unmuted.
That's all right. Do we have any more questions or comments?
Peter Stringham has his hand raised.
There's Peter.
All right. Hello, everybody. Just talking about a communication, Mark, a comment regarding the newsletter, since that came up. That's my main way to find out what's going on with the building sale and everything. And right now there's like a letter from the board, open letter to the congregation. I'm guessing that was posted in September. And then building update, there was a posting there from when the money was transferred, which was what, December, around there. And there really haven't been any updates since then. So it'd be really helpful for me if communication to the congregation about all of these big issues could be presented and updated regularly on the newsletter. That would be helpful for me.
Agreed on that. Of course, you do realize there haven't been that any changes at all since those times, but I definitely see your point. Definitely.
Yeah, well, just, you know, we're meeting and we're looking, you know, just anything so we can have transparency, communication.
We've had some discussions at the board that the website's kind of static. Could be livened up in many ways.
Oh yeah. But I'm talking about the newsletter. Yeah,
understood that too. Yep. Thank you. And I don't see anyone else.
I have a quick question. We are going to be meeting. Why don't we plan another meeting soon live rather than Zoom? You know, maybe a potluck, you know, at the synagogue or something after service. Can we do that kind of thing? That's a thought. I mean,
right. We haven't discussed to that extent just yet, but obviously we all want to get to that. So I think this week there will be some communications, and then we can send that out for everyone. I mean, at a minimum, I would love to see us to have a service at the church next week.
That might be a great way to introduce the congregation to the space.
Exactly. Yep.
Having a potluck or some sort of informal meeting.
And we'll have to also be aware that we do have use of their kitchen area and, hello puppy, we do have use of their kitchen area and pots and pans and that sort of thing. But of course it is a kosher kitchen. So we'll have to put all those guidelines in place to make it very clear to people what they can and cannot bring.
No bacon.
No bacon.
well, in that case, I mean, next week is the music team. So I don't know. I think there'd need to be a committee to organize for anything. But maybe there's just the idea that after service, we have coffee and tea and crumpets together or something, you know, just maybe not something so formal or, you know, coordinated as a potluck, but that we can sit in circle and enjoy each other's company.
That would be lovely, wouldn't it?
Yes.
I know we're all dying to do it. I see all your smiling faces. Well, I did want you to let everybody know the Zoom meeting is being recorded. We will share the link with any congregants members that want to see it sometime later. If you know somebody who wanted to come, but they couldn't for technical reasons, let the board know, and we will send the link out via email or text, whatever they prefer. Again, the voting, which would be mailed out to people, that all the memberships, anybody has the vote they want to put in because they couldn't be here today, that will be going out soon and due June 4th, I believe, 2 weeks away. And that's about all I have today.
I have a quick question, Mark.
Yeah.
If you're not going to, if results from people who couldn't be here today are not going to be in for a while, the two new candidates can't serve on the board. Am I understanding that correctly?
Well, the bylaws are specific that 51% of the attending members at the meeting, but I figured because of its weird times, we could extend it out and see if there's any major difference in the vote. I don't know that anything will change it. I don't think anybody's going to come and say that it was rigged or that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So Mark, to be clear, are we thinking next Sunday or we're thinking a week after?
I think the week after that.
That'd probably be especially since next weekend is Memorial Day weekend.
It's Memorial Day. It is the music. It's the music team highlight performance. You know, if you guys want to pack everything up and come on over, that's up. You know, we can definitely let you do that. But I think 2 weeks is probably the safest bet. More logical.
So. All right. Thanks.
Thank you. Well, thank you. I guess we can consider this meeting closed. Thank you again, everybody, for attending. Let everybody know that couldn't come about it and have them contact the board. We'll get that link out there. And could I ask a prayer chaplain to pray us out?
I can do that.
Oh, thank you.
It is with gratitude and our good pleasure to have gathered here this morning, both in service with Jean Marie Eck and our Zoom meeting for our annual meeting. We're grateful for all of those individuals who've contributed their time, talents, and resources to make these things happen. Those of you who have contributed comments, suggestions, and ideas. And questions. Questions are good. Questions keep us moving. Questions keep us full of life. So for all of these things, we say thank you, thank you, thank you. Let it be, and so it is.
Great. Everybody have a great day.
Awesome. Brian, can you stay on for a second?
I don't know. Do you have muffins?
Here, you'd have to drive.
I've eaten second breakfast, but I'm up to lunch now.
Oh, okay. Well, I can't help you. But I do have a question.
Would you like me to hang or boogie?
No, will you be on next? You'll be on next week, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, maybe you want to do our welcome or.
Plus we'll talk on Wednesday or before that, presumably. Oh, make sure I do get an order of service.
Okay. Yes.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Bye. Bye, Annie. So, Brian, I just had a, question. Next week, what do you think? You want to stay home rather than carting everything and having to open up there, or did you want to get it there, or what do you think?
How many? Who are we talking about for all the artists?
It's just you and I and Keith and Lynn and Lucian and Christine.
So you guys are already up there.
Yeah, we're already here, and it's just
me and
then
Keith come in there.
and yeah, and Lynn's here.
I think
Where it's Memorial Day weekend, I think.
I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I'm not going away anywhere.
Oh, you're not? Well, neither am I. I mean, I'm willing to go over there. What would we have to bring? Just our guitars and.
I mean, if it's just us live streaming, then we just need some microphones and a small mixer. We don't have to worry about the PA because
we're just
we're not there with people. But
can we use a would use a mic, just one mic, and we'd move in front of it? Is that what?
I think we need more than that, but
we can do it because we're streaming.
We could, but then at that point, what's the point of us going over there other than to have a different background for what we're doing?
I'm just as to get a head start, but I kind of think with it being Memorial Day, it's going to be crazy in town here.
Probably, yeah, I would imagine. I would say we should just opt for 2 weeks from now, and then we're just jumping into what we need to jump into.
Right.
Again, I've been there. I've seen what their equipment is. See you, Mark.
Bye, guys. See you later. Have a great
Mark.
day.
Okay, if that's the case, then.
Yeah, I think it's because. I mean, do we get John Hyde soon? Do we just do it with the way we've been doing it with just us? And the needs can actually just shift based on some of those decisions.
Yeah.
They have a robotic camera. They have a computer set dedicated to do Zoom, so we could be zooming in with their camera onto certain areas. That's all fine, but it's who is in the room and how they're going to be serviced. That's really the big question.
Okay.
So we could Zoom doing almost anything like we have been, but someone sitting in there, are they going to be able to hear us because their PA speakers are pretty small?
Okay. Well, and if you want us to bring, you're going to bring all the microphones and so forth, or did you need help from other people? You've got all that stuff there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've got mics, cables, stands. I've got a small mixer.
Do you have to get that from the office, or do you have it? Oh, okay.
No, I mean, you can't move that Midas around. It's not. We don't have a case for it, for one, and it would take 2 people to move that.
The other thing is, I guess I have to in the next 2 weeks figure out singing indoors. I mean, are there windows we can open?
We can, but we don't need to worry. All the mandates go away.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mandates go away on the 29th or 28th, whenever.
Okay. Then
because at that point, like if people aren't vaccinated, they need to get vaccinated.
Right.
And it's really, they're trying to be pretty clear but pretty blunt about it. Just saying, as far as I know, they're. Yeah, I mean, the state of emergency goes away and all the mask mandates go away as of the 28th.
Okay.
2 months ahead of schedule. So at that point, there's anyone who's unvaccinated. I guess that's the other caveat is that they go away for anyone who's unvaccinated. So because we just had this meeting with Hannah's in a play, right? And we're planning on doing it outdoors under a tent in front of the community house, and now we're talking about moving it indoors. But either way, they're going to make the kids wear masks. I said, well, why are you making the kids wear masks? She said, well, because they're all under 16. They haven't been vaccinated.
Right.
So they could still be spreading COVID around. And even if they got them vaccinated, you know, there's not enough weeks to get 2 shots and 2 weeks in. So we're going to be in a similar situation. You're vaccinated? I'm vaccinated. Keith's vaccinated, so we can all stand up there and sing without a mask. But
if you're not vaccinated,
yeah, I mean, if any of our friends that are regularly singing for us are not vaccinated, then that's probably going to be an issue.
okay. So
I know Steve's vaccinated. I'm pretty sure John Hyde's vaccinated.
John
Ken Clark
Hyde
is. Those guys, I saw them recently.
and
So,
if
yeah.
if you're not vaccinated, it's more an issue for you if you come in.
Well, the rest of the community too.
Well, the rest of the community that's not vaccinated.
Right.
That's not vaccinated, and that's okay.
And the thing is, you as a vaccinated person there's still a 5% chance you could get COVID.
Right.
So that's also an issue too. But it's less of an issue because even if you get COVID, you're not going to be very sick from it, having had the vaccine. There are very few people who have the vaccine who get that sick from COVID, although it is possible.
So if you're not vaccinated, your decision, it's your decision as to whether or not to come.
Yeah. And you are technically supposed to wear a mask.
Right.
Because you are not vaccinated.
Vaccinated. So, okay. So all of us that aren't vaccinated would not be wearing masks except for the vaccinated people. Unvaccinated will wear them. All right. That's clear. Yeah, because I happen to know there are unvaccinated people that are around.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, then we'll plan on week after next going live at the synagogue, and we'll just stay in touch, and I'll figure out our order of service, and away we go.
Sounds good.
All right. Yeah. So Keithy, think of a song you want to do next week. A song you love that's yours, and
yeah, I'll let you know by Tuesday. How's that?
Okay. All right.
All right.
Bless. Bye bye.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.